Lots of people are wondering, what's Gator Collective?
It's a team of talented athletes and passionate fans.
It's the playbook for our NIL success.
To earn compensation for our name, image, and likeness.
It's exclusive access to unforgettable moments.
This includes autographs, interviews, appearances, and more.
It's what connects Gator athletes like me.
And me.
And me.
With you.
So what are you waiting for?
Join Gator Collective today and experience Gator Nation like never before.
Want more Gators Breakdown? Join Gators Breakdown Plus. Starting at $3 a month, get access to unique episodes, plus a blog, chat room, giveaways, shout-outs, and more. Gators Breakdown Plus is furthering the interaction with fans and listeners like you. Head to gatorsbreakdown.supportingcast.fm to join Gators Breakdown Plus today. Gators Breakdown, because there's never a dull moment in Gator Nation.
The Gators Breakdown podcast is ready to go. I'm your host, David Waters. You can find me on Twitter at GatorDave_SEC. Coming at you with one of the first ones we've done in quite some time. Gets that way during the season. Hey, what a recruiting episode, because Gators pick up 2 commits today on this Thursday ahead of the LSU game. We get a commitment from defensive backs. 2 defensive backs, one being Dijon Johnson, the other one being Bryce Thornton. We'll get into a quick review of who those guys are, what they bring to the table for the Gators here. But yeah, big recruiting weekend coming up versus LSU. Probably think this is a little bit planned, kicking it off with these 2 commitments here. We'll get into Billy Napier's comments. I asked him on the SEC teleconference this week about, holding off on so many official visits this weekend. He dives into, why they waited till this weekend, not just because it's a big game. You'll get to hear his answer later on in this episode after we go into detail about Dijon Johnson and Bryce Thornton. Hit that like button. Look, there's plenty of reasons to hit that like button right here on this episode. 2 commits for the Gators. You like it just because, hey, help me out. Help me out right here. Does YouTube, that algorithm that they put up there, all the likes, all the subscriptions, all the comments go into helping us out here, getting more Gator fans, letting them find Gators Breakdown if they're out there on YouTube. So plenty to get into, of course. With the 2 commitments, the Discord on Gators Breakdown Plus is hopping with all the conversation going on with the big day in recruiting right here. So go over there. The link is in the description. You can join for $3 a month. Gators Breakdown Plus, all kind of extra content as well. So, all right, let's get it going. Gator Nation, we got to commit. Let's go with Dijon Johnson, cornerback, 6'1", 190 pounds from Tampa, Wharton High School. As you see right here, if you're watching the YouTube version, if not, you can listen as he is rated a 4-star on the 24/7 Sports Composite, a 4-star on the On3 consensus. Now, a little bit different here on 24/7 as they have him the 96th overall player in the country, but they have him as the safety and the 7th ranked safety in the country. On3, he's the 101st ranked player and 10th ranked cornerback. So, let you know, position versatility right there. But he's going to be coming in to Florida to play cornerback. But one more time, 24/7 Sports Composite, 96th overall and 7th ranked safety. On3, 101st overall. So 5 spots separate him right there. But the 10th ranked cornerback. Johnson is the 3rd highest ranked player in the class for the Gators so far this year, with a 24/7 Sports rating of 95.64. He would be the 28th highest DB commit Florida's ever recruited on the 24/7 Sports all-time commit list. And he'd slot right in between Marcus Roberson, class of 2011, Corey Collier, 2021. And I went and looked some other corners in that range. That's defensive backs there. But looking at just corners in that range, because that's what he projects to be at Florida, you got Cody Riggs, C.J. Henderson in that range, Jacques Rickerson as well. So there's the company Dijon Johnson finds himself in historically. I mean, look, you get a top 100 player right here for the defensive backfield, coached by one Corey Raymond. So we've followed this storyline for quite a few months, right? Couple months, dating back to the summer. Now, he committed back to Ohio State back on April 17th. Visited Florida on March 15th before that, then came the decommit. And most people thought an instant flip to Florida. We were on flip watch when he decommitted from Ohio State and had multiple visits to Florida starting in late July, Friday Night Lights and, back for unofficial visits early in September. But we were just waiting for that flip at any moment to happen in July, late that month. So, and now here we are, October 13th, and we get the flip finally. So, look, and remember, people jumped the gun saying that he had already flipped, and they had commitment articles out there and all that. And, could that have played into the delay here? Maybe, somewhat. But awesome video put out by D-Web's team as well, getting that commitment out there. I mean, the long, physical cornerback that fits the mold of what a DB coach wants, especially Corey Raymond, kind of has that mold for his cornerbacks, the long, rangy cornerbacks. Very aggressive in his highlights, and that's what you want to see in a cornerback, up in the face and challenging wide receivers. On 3, Director of Scouting and Rankings Charles Power says one of the more physically imposing top cornerbacks in 2023 cycle, measuring in at 6'1", 187 pounds with a wingspan of 6'4", pairs that high end speed and length with good straight line speed, running an electronically timed 4.58 second 40-yard dash prior to his senior season. Fluid mover with a smooth and coordinated back pedal, has shown the ability to transition from his back pedal and flip his hips in downfield coverage, shows some signs of being a risk taker at the high school level with jumping some passes. Looks like a pure cornerback as opposed to some of the other big defensive backs in the cycle, older for the class. Let's go to 24/7 Sports' Andrew Ivins, and he offers this scouting report. A big-time cornerback prospect that has the tools required to shut down one side of the field on Saturdays. Measured roughly 6'1", 190 the spring before senior season. More importantly, testing in the upper percentile with laser time 4.5 in the 40-yard dash on record to go along with a 4.4 short shuttle. Smooth and controlled in his back pedal, he's quick to gain depth, fires out of his brakes with ease more times than not, and able to change directions better than most with his length. Does a nice job of filling out routes, putting himself in position to make plays, which he did frequently as a junior, picking off 6 passes and returning 4 of them for touchdowns. Those interceptions helped Tampa Wharton program, which is coached by former NFL first-round pick Mike Williams, make a deep run of Florida State playoffs. Not one to shy away from contact, isn't afraid to put his hands on a wide receiver, but must contribute to develop press technique if he's going to be a true bump and run corner at the next level. Also has to stop relying on his extra gear to bail him out, as college wideouts will be much faster. Should be viewed as one of the top prospects on Florida's I-4 corridor for the 2023 cycle and a potential difference maker at the Power 5 level given his size, movement patterns, and ability to create takeaways. NFL upside with his wingspan and speed, earned some all-state recognition after a junior campaign in which he picked off 6 passes, returned 4 for touchdowns one more time. Tampa Wharton goes 9-3, goes to the third round of the 7A playoffs. It's a big get, of course, for the Gators right here, top 100. You hear NFL upside. Here can play on Saturdays. Not much to critique there. And look, when he decommitted from Ohio State, he was the 6th highest recruit in Ohio State's class at that time and was one of 6 Florida commits in that class for Ohio State at the time. So not only did you get a elite in-state player for Florida. You were able to flip him from a program that has hit the state of Florida hard in recent years, was hitting the state of Florida hard once again. And somewhat of, look, Florida put these wheels in motion back in the summer. So kind of a flip. It just took some time. Look, this is one angle where Florida has to get better. Recruit in-state. Quote unquote flip a prospect from Ohio State. This highly ranked. That's a major pull. We had so many guys that we were looking at the cornerback spot or defensive back spots, AJ Harris, Tony Mitchell. For one reason or another, you didn't get those guys, but Cormani McClain's still out there. And we were looking at Harris and Mitchell when we kicked off this cycle. But man, Dijon Johnson, definitely not one to be overlooked when you want to start looking at defensive backs and corners for Florida in this 2023 class. All right, so here we go. Let's keep it going. Gator Nation, we got to commit. One more right here on this Thursday. Bryce Thornton from the state of Georgia, 5'10", 185 pounds, 3-star on the 24/7 Sports Composite, 3-star on the On3 Consensus. On 24/7 Sports Composite, he is the 485th ranked player, the 45th safety. On3 Consensus, 460th ranked player, 45th safety as well. Let me double check that. Those numbers really say the same. I need to make sure for you guys. I know I threw the graphic up there, but want to I should have double checked earlier, shouldn't I? But I do want to make sure that I got that out there for you. So he's the 44th ranked safety on 3. So don't mind that graphic there. One spot off. And look, that probably actually could have changed, but when I built that graphic. So, but look, one spot different. Pretty much the 45th safety out there. But, about a 20 spot difference in the On3 Consensus and the 24/7 Sports Composite. 5'10", 185, the size is probably the biggest worry there. But he's a versatile piece in that secondary. And finalist coming into the day, we all saw, well, not we all, but if you missed it, he had a final 2. We saw the video. He put it out as well that it was going to be Florida and it was going to be Alabama. And, it's come maybe some question where he was at with Alabama. I think Alabama was keeping him warm, but maybe not fully ready to accept the commitment if he was going to pick Alabama. I'm not saying he was going to pick Alabama, but at this time, if he was going to commit to Alabama, it may or may not have been accepted. And I'm not sure how much that played into the decision or not to go to Florida or pick Florida. He may have picked Florida anyway. But looking at nickel or safety for Thornton, and look, he has experience. Has experience in high school playing all those. So, we go back all the time and looked at Todd Grantham and how he tried to fit guys into certain spots and, mainly playing one position or the other and then trying to fit them in somewhere in college. Well, at least Bryce Thornton has that versatility, playing a lot of positions in high school. And now you can kind of see where he fits in. Probably more nickel for the Gators. He makes plays on the back end. He causes turnovers for even bigger plays. Very physical and plays bigger than that size. He plays bigger than that 5'10", 185 listed weight there. He's not just looking for the hit. He's a good tackler as well. He'll wrap up when he needs to. And he puts himself in position to make tackles. He doesn't take himself out of the play, doesn't take bad angles a lot of the time. He goes out there and makes the tackle like you're supposed to. Aggressive, physical in coverage, shows the smarts to play downhill, to attack. And I think that's why he fits in that nickel there. Florida needs that aggressive style of mindset, that aggressive style of playmaker to go play nickel. And I know many will scoff at the 3-star ranking and, look at 485th in the country. Staff has liked Thornton a lot the whole time. And the offers, he had offers from all the schools you want a prospect to have offers from. As I said, would he be able to commit to Georgia or Alabama right at this time? Not sure. But the interest was certainly there. And of course, we all know, and look, We talk recruiting all the time. I don't know what 3 stars, 4 stars, 5 stars are going to turn out to be the better players in a class. Now, we know on a per average basis that 5 stars, 4 stars turn out to produce more, but we don't know which ones. So that's why I can't scoff at a certain player. Won't do that. Definitely won't do that. I know this staff really, really likes Thornton. Very, very high on him. Patrick Toney was big here in securing this commitment, playing that nickel spot. And Toney could let him see him at safety at some point, maybe, since he coaches that position. But nickel seems to be, he is a versatile piece. That has been expressed to him. They like that versatility. But I think if we're looking for a spot to maybe fit him, if I had to pick one, I'd say nickel. And Florida just needs that tough, aggressive mindset there. Plans to early enroll, so hopefully next spring he's in there, fitting himself into that nickel spot. And a little bit looking at it, I talked about all the offers and the other schools. I mean, we felt pretty good about this one for about a month now. It was just a matter of waiting for the announcement. I mentioned Toney playing a role here, but Napier, of course, the head coach, of course, he plays a large role. But William Pigler, Jamar Chaney helped in the process too. Billy Napier's texting him every week. So this was a big-time group effort there, but specifically Patrick Toney going up to Milton, Georgia, checking him out in person multiple times as well. Went a long way. He mentioned the relationships that he's been able to bond with the staff, looking forward to building the bond with the staff even more, and some of the other players. He mentioned Sharif Denson out of here in Jacksonville by name. That's somebody he's been able to connect with. And got the lineage. Bryce Thornton, former Georgia running back. That's his dad. So you got the athletic lineage right there for one Bryce Thornton. All right, so with the addition of Johnson and Thornton today for the Gators, the Florida class shoots up from 12th on the 24/7 Sports Composite to 8th. Now in the top 10, passing Clemson, just ahead of Clemson right here. Now Florida, 22 commits in the class. So now you add, and looking at the position group, the positions right here for Florida, add Johnson and Thornton to a defensive back class with the already committed 4-star Jakeem Jackson, the 142nd ranked player in the country. Jordan Castell, the 209th ranked player in the country. Sharif Denson, as I just mentioned him, the 229th ranked player in the country. And Aaron Gates, the 333rd ranked player in the class. Fits in at this defensive back class as well. And now hopefully, of course, you hope you to add Cormani McClain down the road. He'll be visiting Gainesville this week for the big game versus LSU. Could Florida just blow it away and maybe get that commitment here soon this weekend? I think he's probably going to take some more time here. But look, get these 2 commitments today. Gainesville is going to be packed. Gainesville is going to be hype all weekend. So many recruits are going to be in town. Just get him caught up in the moment. Go ahead and have Cormani McClain just seal the deal. Go ahead and say, all right, it's over. I'm going to be a Gator. That's what we're waiting on right here in this defensive backfield. He was the biggest name in this cycle coming in. When we started turning the page from the last cycle to this cycle, he's went uncommitted this long. Looks to be a Florida-Alabama battle. What happens here? Cormani McClain on campus this weekend. That's the one we're waiting on. Great haul already at defensive back, for real, for the Gators. I mean, already a really good class here. This haul now to be coached by Corey Raymond and Patrick Toney there on the back end. But Gideon McClain, of course, for so many angles is a must here. Perception, getting one of the best players in the state of Florida, getting one of the best players in the country, going and beating the best schools out there for his commitment. It's a must-add. It is a must-add. You've been in great shape the whole time here. This will be a good haul regardless, but of course we all know it's time to start stacking talent. And this is a great opportunity to do so. You know what else is a great opportunity? This weekend, as I just mentioned, blow them away. Blow all these recruits away. And I asked Billy Napier this week on the SEC teleconference, why this weekend? Why so many official visitors and visitors this weekend? big recruiting weekend this weekend. I know you can't go into specifics, but you held off on a lot of official visits up into this LSU game. What's the thought process behind that?
Well, I think that in-season official visits are always a challenge, just because your staff is a little bit, their attention is divided relative to doing the absolute best job you can do for your current team, but also doing a good job with the recruits. We always host recruits for games. We've got a handful of official visitors. We have an open date the next week, right? So that creates a little bit different schedule, Sunday, Monday for the staff, so we're able to spend a little bit more time with this group.
Hey, makes sense, right? There's a bye week for Florida next week after LSU and ahead of Georgia. You don't have to go to so many meetings on Sunday and Monday because of that bye week now. So you spend more time with all these recruits that are on campus. Some of them official visits, some of them not official visits, some of them committed, a lot of them committed. It seems like the whole class for Florida that is committed is going to be in Gainesville for this LSU game. And so you get those guys to help you out along the way. But yeah, unofficial visitors, official visitors, commits, and huge targets in town this weekend versus LSU. Official visitors, 5 stars from the state of Alabama, James Smith on the defensive line. Quay Rusal, 5-star edge from the state of Alabama. Marcus Stokes, quarterback commit for the Gators on his official visit this weekend, and Bryce Thornton as well. Unofficial visitors, go back, Cormani McClain, of course. We'll see, if he ends up making it or not. That's just one to look out for. The confirmation still waiting if he's going to be able to make it or not. But commits, Webb, James, Mazzell, Dijon Johnson, of course, Jaden Robinson, Kelby Collins, Gavin Hill, Creed Whittemore, Jordan Castell, Najee Harris, Tyree Patterson. Now, you also start looking at some other targets. Xavier McLeod, South Carolina commit. He's going to be in Gainesville this weekend. Defensive lineman there, 4-star. Might be possible to see Jordan Hall out of Jacksonville. That defensive lineman, it's possible to see him. But then you start looking at not just this 23 class, of course, the big, it might even be the big, besides McClain, might be the biggest name on campus. And besides those Alabama defensive linemen, of course, 2024 5-star quarterback, DJ Lagway, the top target in the class, the quarterback target for the class. Florida's knocked it out of the park so far with him. Got to keep it going. First game environment for him. Hey, if you're going to the game, be loud, be loud, be loud. give all these recruits this type of environment they need to see Saturday night. Of course, the team has to do their part too. But just a couple more names. 5-star edge, Elijah Rushing, 5-star cornerback, Desmond Ricks, who, of course, another one down the road next cycle that I think Florida's going to be in good shape for right there. But, keep the quarterback going right from here in Jacksonville. 2025 quarterback Tramel Jones out of Mandarin. So, Colin Hurley, another 5-star, another quarterback. I don't want to say 5-star. Another quarterback out of Jacksonville in the 2025 class. I don't know for sure if he'll be here or not, but I bring him up because Jacksonville's got 2 quarterbacks in the class of 2025 that are going to be very highly ranked. You got to get one of those guys. If you get Lagway, of course, that kind of lessens the blow. If you go ahead and get him next cycle, and maybe we'll find out. You have to really blow him away this week for him to go ahead and pull the trigger. That's looking like a winter, spring announcement for him. Maybe if you can get it that early. I don't think he's in any rush. But then you start looking at 25. There's going to be 2 kids in Jacksonville. So, but there you go. Kind of a look ahead for this weekend. All the big names that'll be on campus. All the big names. Huge weekend for the Gators. One for the game versus LSU. And, of course, the biggest recruiting weekend of the season. And it gets kicked off with commitments from Dijon Johnson and Bryce Thornton. All right, that'll do it for this episode of Gators Breakdown, the rare commitment episode in the season. The season keeps me busy enough, but hey, cannot let this go by without talking these commitments right here for the Gators. All right, that'll do it for this episode of Gators Breakdown. I'm your host, David Waters. You can find me on Twitter at GatorDave_SEC. Guys and girls out there, thank you for listening to this episode of Gators Breakdown.